Castle Combe on a drying circuit.
It is tyres, Charlie. I can just peer into the distance. They've run to the car with a jack and a spare set of tyres. We're just about ready, though, to go racing.
Very tidy.
So I reckon that's going to be a gamble to put Chris Smith onto slick tyres, and he will be at the back of the grid. He may have a bit of catching up to do, but that could be an inspired choice based on what he's seen, because it is drying now very, very quickly here. So this is a 20-minute race. In other words, he's got 20 minutes to catch up from the pit lane. The lights go red. All 5 lights are on red now. The lights go out, away they go, and a good start made by Arthur Forster from the outside of the second row of the grid. A tremendous start, in fact, and he's going to lead the way towards the right-hander of Folly for the first time. Chris Knox going with him as well, and as the field power their way up towards Quarry, not quite so rapidly off the line there is Lee Allen. And look, in from the pit lane has come Chris Smith. He's going to be at the back, leaving himself with a lot of work to do, but it's going to be fascinating to monitor his progress as Martin Depper here powers up towards Quarry and loses a place.
Yeah, so as they go round, up over Avon Rice, through Quarry now, you can see all of the cars jostling for position there, and he's just keeping up on the inside to see if he can do a little lunge on the inside of the S's, which is the chicane we're looking at now.
Going backwards, look, number 1 there, Chris Knox from the front row of the grid, he's 4th, so Arthur Forster it is who leads the way as the cars turn their way up towards Old Paddock for the first time. Sam Osborne goes through in car number 18, number 4 Stuart Lyons, the former ex-sidecar motocrosser, now turned circuit racer. He's raced in these and Clios, and off the road has gone in car number 15 there, Patrick Mortimer, stepping up from the club class into the JCWs this year, and a big, big moment at Old Paddock. So down they come for the first time into Bobby's. And Arthur Forster, having established himself up front now, trying to get away. Lee Allen in second spot as the cars accelerate down towards the end of lap number 1. Chris Smiley going through there in 22. But again, this is the beauty of one-make racing. They're all staying in one long, long line, aren't they? Coming up towards the end of the opening lap number 1. Chris Knox, then, who used to race in the Scottish Mini Championship. Another driver to make some progress, I think. So Forster leading. Lee Allen is 2nd, Chris Paniuto is 3rd, 4th is Knox, in 5th place Lee Patterson, returning to Minis after a spell in Clio racing, and Sam Osborne in 6th place at the end of the opening lap.
Yeah, number 50, just towards the back of that front pack, Jason Richardson. Very, very quick in the dry, was a bit nervous of the wet. Let's look at a replay now of somebody going very, very wide, not keeping the power in, giving it too much opposite lock, and the car just snaps round. A little bit of the rear diffuser, or a bit of a bodywork from underneath then, and then off. Looks fairly steady into the barriers there. It wasn't much of a nasty shunt, but more of a scare on that wet grass.
Yeah, that was Patrick Mortimer going off on the first lap in one of the many Scalextric supported cars. Can't do that in a Scalextric set. Now, we know that we've had a pit stop already for Chris Smith, and I reckon he went on to slicks. Other teams are ready with slick tyres. I think we may well get a rash of pit stops as this race goes on. And Chris Smith is in last place, but I reckon as the race wears on, that's going to be the man to watch as he starts to work his way into contention. Here are the leaders then, wriggling their way out of Bobby's. Arthur Forster in the lead. Now, is he on the right set of tyres? Let's see.
So if some of these guys are going wide, then they might actually be on the wet tyres that are already going off. So once the wet tyre gets hot, it starts to sort of turn into jelly and basically gives you a really bad handling car. As you can see again, they're going wide, so we've really got massive tyre choice and lots of intelligent thinking needed for this race, and the mechanics are going to have to be very busy very shortly.
That was Chris Paniuto who was all over the grass, being forced out wide, coming over the timing line. Arthur Forster leading by 7/10 of a second from Lee Allen as this next gaggle of cars now descends on Quarry. Chris Knox at the head of that little group, but only just ahead, right on his tail now. 22 is Chris Smiley, a man called Carrick Fergus, the motor trader, who is another driver that's raced in the Scottish Championship. He's done a lot of travelling to do his mini racing, and so now as the cars work their way for the 3rd time out of the S's, you can see the way now, the top 2 are breaking away, and in fact it's all because Chris Knox here 3rd, he's holding up the cars behind, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he is, exactly. So that's been bunching everyone up, and then everyone else is pretty much going to then struggle as they're being bunched up. You can see they're looking for wet bits of the circuit where you see the spray just coming up, where there's still a bit of standing water, but it's definitely a 100% slick circuit.
Now they're going through is in number 50 Jason Richardson. He's in 10th place, but he could be another one to gain ground before the end. The top 2 still breaking away, trying perhaps to build up as big an advantage as they can before they have to think about tyre preservation or indeed a pit stop if it goes really, really wrong for them on the rubber.
Yeah, Jason Richardson there just literally got back from Dubai, wasn't really that happy that it was raining this morning, wasn't very confident at all, and he's a very good friend of mine, Stuart Clark, who actually also raced in the Minis as well. As you can see, all of the cars going wide on the exit of Camp Corner as they come past the commentary box.
Now in the club class for the less powerful cars. 79 there, John O'Brown heading the pack, but only just, because you can see right up behind him is Henry Gilbert, the championship leader, and going with him is Dean Raymond. We've also got one car that's just dived into the pit lane as well, so I think we are getting to the point now where tyres become ever more of an issue.
Yeah, John O'Brown here was here actually this week, being trained by ex-British touring car driver and still trying to get into touring cars again, is Paul O'Neill. So Paul O'Neill giving him lots of tips and coaching, and the kid, bless him, he's only 16 years old and his mum and dad bring him here because he's not old enough to drive on the roads, and here he is driving flat out around the circuit.
Now there in the pit lane is Craig Freeman, and that's going to be all about tyres, isn't it? Now, he was on the 8th row of the grid, so in other words, he was a fair way back. But number 7, Craig Freeman, now making a pit stop. And there you can see in 3rd place, Chris Knox still holding up the pack behind and losing touch with the leaders. Chris Smiley there, 22, going well in 4th place, but he's struggling to find a way past that very wide car of Chris Knox.
Yeah, he's making his car extremely wide. And from a driver's point of view, these conditions are really terrible because you don't know number 3 there.
That was the leader, Arthur Forster. Look in the foreground there, you can see that Arthur Forster has lost his lead. Lee Allen has gone bouncing past him because Arthur Forster was way out wide coming through Camp Corner. So an experienced driver making a mistake, losing the lead. And Lee Allen now, look, has got a monster gap.
Yeah, he was very confident this morning once having a quick chat with him. Whoa. And another bit of a late lunge there and contact there, a little bit further back in the field there. So all of them jostling for position, but Lee Allen very, very confident in the wet. So he's going to be loving the fact that it's drying out and his confidence thrives even more.
Sam Osborne is doing a great job here. Look, in 3rd place now, number 18, the green and black car. 5th at the start of the lap, and because people are having dramas now, it's playing into his hands. So he's up into 3rd, and guess who has done the fastest lap of the race? Chris Smith, who we saw pit at the end of the green flag lap. Sam Osborne goes 2nd on the inside. Arthur Forster, who led early on, drops to 3rd. Sam Osborne doing a great job here, and Chris Smiley trying to get up the inside as well. Look at the blue car, and he's gone by. Arthur Forster, who led early on in the race, is fading fast. He's down to 4th. So Lee Allen it is up front. They're lapping in the 20s and slower, but Chris Smith lapping in the 1:17. So clearly now, slicks are the way to go. But can the wet survive to the end of 20 minutes of racing? Arthur Forster is really in strife here. That's another place lost, isn't it? Round the outside goes Chris Knox, who gets squeezed onto the grass. Bits of trim flap off the bottom of the car. He mini-crosses his way back onto the road. Arthur Forster being a bit forceful there.
Yeah, we've got 13 minutes left of the race, or just under 13 minutes. And also car number 89, Stoney as well, is putting in some blistering lap times, 1:17.9. So he looks like he's on slicks as well. So quite a few of them just creeping up the order there, and the lap times really you can tell the difference.
I'd go along with that theory about Shane Stoney. There he is in 89. He wasn't in his right grid position, so I think he arrived late on the grid having had that tyre change. And Stoney absolutely storming on now. He's up to 8th. There you can see him. Next target is number 1, Chris Knox, and the slick shod car there, 89, working its way through for another place. We've got Dean Raymond coming into the pit lane in car 2 from the club class. That must be for tyres as well. And Lee Allen, look, has been reeled in by Sam Osborne. He is also getting faster and faster, not to a slick shod pace, I don't think, just yet, but look at the way that he's reeled in here. Number 26, Lee Allen, fabulous stuff, this. Yeah,
we're definitely going to see another move here, maybe into Camp Corner, which is the fast left-hander. New curbing's been added on the inside of this corner to stop the mini drivers cutting the corner, because the Castle Combe officials were pretty upset with their grass being ruined. So not a lunge there, but it has restricted the line they take through Camp Corner.
So the 2 leaders covered by just 0.2 of a second. They go through. Lee Allen then ahead of Sam Osborne. In 3rd place now is Chris Smiley. Lee Patterson is up into 4th. In 5th is Arthur Forster. And up into 6th has come Shane Stoney on slick tyres. So he potentially could be the winner of this race. He is currently 4 seconds behind the leaders, and he's lapping at 3 seconds a lap quicker.
Yeah, what's happened is the guys on the front of the grid have actually got the wet tyres on because they've just played it safe. The guys that have been sort of sixth further back have just basically, and these guys have just swapped position, as you can see, 18 and 26 there. So the lead has just changed hands. So tyres playing a massive part in this as we follow again Stoney, car number 89, really clawing his way up the field on that brave move to start off with slicks.
Bit of a wobble. Sam Osborne is the new race leader. Lee Allen is there in 2nd place. Chris Smiley also coming into the picture. Now, how about this in the club class? The 2 class leaders together now. Number 81, Henry Gilbert, trying to go for the lead back from John O'Brown on the outside line there. 22, Chris Smiley getting hung out to dry by Lee Allen. Everywhere you look, there's a battle going on. Sam Osborne it is, leading the way, defending then, sitting in the middle of the road, moves across to take the line for the corner. He's in danger of slithering out wide here. Lee Allen is right up behind him. Now, where in all of this is Shane Stoney? 6th at the start of the lap, 4th at the end of it. And he's now only 8/10 behind them. This is a fantastic drive, and it's all down to tyres. Look at this, he gets forced around the outside there. Moving across on him is Chris Smiley, but Shane Stoney keeps on coming. They're almost 3 wide up towards Quarry. No, he can't go by there. Smiley comes back at him on the inside. Stoney looks for some grip on the outside. Can he get third? He's got his nose in front. What a race.
Yeah, what a race. But Stoney's got to be careful here because he knows he's got a massive advantage. There's still just under 10 minutes left. He's got to be careful that these guys don't push him off onto the wet stuff, and then he just goes wide and they take the position back. So great racing from car number 89, Stoney. Well done.
He's up into 2nd place now. There you can see 22, Chris Smiley. We've got 9 3/4 minutes to go. Now, where's the other car that started on slicks from the pit lane? Chris Smith is now 12th and has done the fastest lap of the race. So it was the right decision from him. Shane Stoney likewise. And there he goes round the outside to grab the lead at Tower. Another really brave pass at that corner, and he's done it. He's gone right round the outside. Shane Stoney now leads the way. Fabulous stuff. He's got to dart his way round the slower car of Adrian Norman, Scale Electric's marketing manager, and Shane Stoney now hits the front.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have the fastest lap on this lap because of the traffic that he's had to deal with. But what a fantastic move from like 4th place up to 1st on that last lap. So really good stuff there from Stoney, and I'll be very surprised if he doesn't now pull away from the rest of the pack and put the fastest lap in. And then we can see there Jono Smith on the left being trained by Paul O'Neill, 16-year-old on the inside there, still having a really good fight there further back on the field, pushing his opponent out wide on the exit of Tower.
And look ahead of them is Patrick Mortimer, who we saw on the grass on the first lap. Henry Gilbert goes back into the lead of the class, and he goes all over the grass, bounces back on ahead then just of John O'Brown, and the two of them run nose to tail down towards Camp now. The faster club class, the slower club class cars dropping back, of course, from Patrick Mortimer. Gilbert leading the way only just as they come now into Camp over the line. This is another of those battles. I think it's going to go down to the wire. So Henry Gilbert, who leads the championship outright, comes over the timing line, and he's under huge pressure still. John O'Brown wanting that place back. We've got 8 minutes still to run, and the cars that are on slick tyres still doing these better lap times. 18s for Stoney, 17s for Chris Smith, who's trying to work his way through traffic, and there getting himself in a bit of a moment is 81 Henry Gilbert, but he hangs on to it just.
Yeah, both of those cars, they're snaking on the back end, because as you go over Avon Rise into Quarry, it's very, very easy to get on the brakes and the back end of the car come out wide. And as you can see, John O'Brown, they're really taking Paul O'Neill's advice well and really getting that car turned in on the brakes to get the back end of the car to do lots of the work and try and save his tyres as best he can. So great racing further back in the field in the 2nd class in the minis.
And 7.5 minutes still to run. Now, Chris Paniotu, who we saw being forced off the road early on, has recovered to get into the top 10. And the slick-shod car then of Shane Stoney continues to lead now by 3.9 seconds. Chris Smith, in the meantime, has got quite a lot of empty track to make up, really, before he can do much about those ahead of him, as the cars work their way in the club class fight out of Bobby's and down towards Camp once again. Now, this is what's going on for 3rd place, and we've had a change because Chris Smiley has got himself up past the pole man, Lee Allen. So this battle continues to rage on. Chris Smiley, the 20-year-old, in the Minimax-entered car, just ahead of Lee Allen, the ex-Fast Ford champion from seasons ago. Comes from the Allen Trucker Line family, who were mainstays of truck racing in its early days. And the driving standards flag is going to be shown to Chris Knox. Now, we saw him driving a very wide car earlier on, and he's going to get the driving standards flag this time around. How about this battle? Lee Pattison ahead of Martin Depper, ahead of Arthur Forster, the man that led early on. Arthur now has really faded to 7th, and this is the club class battle, mirror to mirror for the lead. John O'Brown in 79 on the inside. Is he going to be able to go through? Yes, he is. Fantastic battle this as they wriggle their way through the corners. There's Henry Gilbert going way wide into the weeds.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect for Brown there, because he's got the move, he's now got the gap from Gilbert. Silly mistake from Gilbert, really, to have let that battle eke away from him, really, but great move, and he just went off on his own, really, so shame.
It is, with 6 minutes to go. Can he fight back? I think you're right, though, Charlie, in saying that the gap now is there, so he's going to find it hard to bring that down, and also his tyres are going to be a bit dirty, so that's not going to help him for traction going through Tower, but he's still pressing on. And John O'Brown, who, as we've heard, is another newcomer to racing, may yet make a small mistake, you never know. Henry Gilbert is pressing on, isn't he? What's this pace and place back again. All the cars on their Pirelli tyres heading now down towards Camp Corner in this club class battle. Behind them, third in that class, is Simon Hillary, the electrical wholesaler. And there is Sam Osborne, who is second overall and being caught now by the charging Chris Smiling. Remember Sam Osborne's great turn of speed a few laps ago to suddenly work his way now up into the lead of the race, but he now is fading, and this is another fantastic battle. This is for fifth. Lee Pattison, Martin Depper and Arthur Forster.
As you can see, these cars really are, they look fantastic fun to drive, and they really are bouncing around, and the back end of the car is, you know, really trying to snap away from the drivers as those wet tyres are basically absolutely shot now. They won't be able to be used again. They'd be like turning into sort of gloopy glue and making that car handle absolutely appallingly. So you can really see the drivers having to fight as that car wallowing around Quarry Corner there. They really are struggling, but those on slicks, the clever ones, especially Mr. Stoney and Smith still doing the fastest lap, some of these guys have definitely missed a trick.
Yeah, Chris Smith's idea was good, but I think he's going to run out of time. He's now into 10th place, but he's 25 seconds away from the race lead, but he can gain a few more places before the end. Even if he can't get himself into a good place outright, he can gain a few more yet, but he needs the race to be half an hour, I think, to really benefit from that tyre choice. Starting from the pit lane and at the back was just a little bit too much for him. I think there going through is Martin Depper, who is keeping his British Touring Car Championship team boss Arthur Forster behind him now. Wipers on. Is that because they've knocked them on, or have we got spots of rain falling again? Spots of rain falling would appear to be the answer, and that therefore may now go against Shane Stoney. The opposition want this rain to come down to help them out, throw them a lifeline. So Shane Stoney, having done everything absolutely right so far, may now find the elements against him. Over the line he has gone. Just under 4 minutes remain. He's lapping in the 1:19s, not as quick as the cars can go on the slick rubber.
Yeah, I think it's raining just on one part of the circuit at the moment, so these guys that are on slicks are now going to be thinking, do we make the good move or not? But Stoney's got just on a 10-second lead at the moment, so if he can just keep it on the track for the last 3 minutes, so another maybe lap or 2 laps to go on this race, he's going to be laughing knowing he made the right choice with tyres.
Lee Pattison, in the meantime, is trying to fend off Martin Depper, and that rain is coming down harder and harder, and Shane Stoney's pace is going to have to be slackened off here. Just looking around the circuit, umbrellas are going up again, waterproofs are going on. A slick-shod car leads on a track that's getting wetter here at Castle Combe. We've got 3 minutes of the race to go. Can Shane Stoney maintain this 9.6 second advantage on slicks in the wet for the remaining 3 minutes?
Yeah, he's going to have to keep his cool. He's got plenty of temperature in those tyres now. He's just got to really concentrate not to outbrake himself and just basically let the weather take its toll, really. As you can see there, the number 22 car getting nice and sideways on the exit of Tower, and as they bounce through the curbs of Bobby's as they approach then the main pit straight before Camp Corner. These cars really do look very lively to drive, especially with the tyre choices that have been made in this class. And a problem there for Dean Raymond in car number 2. They're really struggling. Probably going to try and limp it home for some points in the championship, but a shame for him. His race is looking nearly over.
Yes, you're right. We saw him in the pits, remember, early on. We thought it may have been for tyres. It was clearly something mechanical, and he's limping on, but that's going to be unfortunate, because as he's just gone across the line, what we've seen out of the window is a big accident because a very slow car has been hit from behind. So we're looking at Shane Stoney, and the red flag has been flown, and that has saved Shane Stoney from any concern about his tyres going off. I was about to say about Dean Raymond's car that going so slowly was not all that intelligent, and what's happened is that he's been hit by their Arthur Forster, the man that led early on, and with a lot of rear damage to one car and frontal damage to another, the red flag has flown straight away to stop the race. Yeah,
straight away on that, and we're on board with John O'Brown here. We've been talking about the youngster earlier. We'll go back to the accident that's just happened, but let's have a look at the onboard. You can see the rain on the windscreen there, down into second gear for one of the chicanes there, which is at the S's. And the red flags are being waved now, so that you can see starting to drop back. You can't overtake on a red flag. You must slow your pace down and be prepared to either come in the pits or stop on the main circuit. But that was a very, very nasty shunt indeed. We were just talking about the slower car, and the bang that came through to the commentary box is quite an eerie sound. So I hope the two drivers are okay, more importantly, and we'll keep you updated on that as and when we know. So not a very nice way to end this race.
Yes, although the conditions are deteriorating, it's not the change of weather that's the problem. It was this big impact. As you saw Dean Raymond's car going so slowly, and it was pretty much on the racing line as a battle came through, and some cars went one way, some went the other, and Arthur Forster, who had the cars open up ahead of him, thought, right, there's my gap. He went for it and found this very, very slow-moving car ahead. Quite why Dean Raymond hadn't come into the pit lane, knowing the car was so slow. Well, Charlie may be right in thinking that he was limping on for points, but when the car is so slow, it is a questionable thing to do. Shane Stoney then takes the win from Sam Osborne. Chris Smiley third, Lee Allen fourth, Martin Depper fifth, and Lee Patterson comes home in sixth place. And it's a sad way to end the race, but inspired tyre choice by Shane Stoney. He's your winner.
Mini race.
Part of the circuit. Dean Raymond's very slow car was limping across the line. Arthur Forster came hurtling out of Camp Corner involved in a battle and had effectively nowhere to go. It was a very big whack right into the back of Dean Raymond's car, and although the race had to be stopped and the drivers taken to the medical centre, I'm happy to say that both of them are okay and have now been released from the medical centre.